What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you to a brand new Let's Play. A Let's Play that I have been wanting to do for a very long time because this is one of my favorite games ever. Like, legit. It is such a wonderful game. It's so pleasant to play, and in every single way, aside from, I would say, obviously, the visuals, this game hasn't aged poorly at all. It's actually still a very phenomenal game. It still plays incredibly well. It still has great mechanics and is, I think, one of the best Nintendo 64 games ever made. Wave Race 64. Where do I even start with this? Well, let's first start by listening to the freaking opening theme for a second, because this opening theme is iconic. Like, does that music just not get you, like, pumped up for what's to come? It's like, it just screams adventure and, like, just happiness, and I love it. And also the freaking announcer chiming in is so great. Oh, I love this game. Okay, so this Let's Play is not going to be particularly long. We are going to be doing championship runs on all three difficulties. Now, we are going to be splitting each championship run into two separate videos, and then I'm also going to, at the end of this Let's Play, go over stunt mode as well as some of the other Easter eggs that can be found in this game. So start by going into the normal championship, and I'm going to explain the mechanics of this game as well as each individual racer. So first things first, each racer has their own different strengths and weaknesses that you can then customize on top of to, you know, tailor your experience. Or you can just go with the normal setting, which basically the gist of it is Hayami's the balanced one, Stuart is the easy one. She has very high handling and very high acceleration, you know, in case you ever get into a pickle of any kind, but very low top speed. Jeter is more of the intermediate one. He's got a little bit worse handling than Hayami, but a little bit better speed. And then Mariner has by far the highest top speed, but also has the worst acceleration and the worst handling. So most bang for your buck, if you're really, really good, you are going to get de facto the best times with this guy. If, like I said, if you're really good, but he's very difficult to maintain a top speed with. So we're going to start this one, I think, by going with Stuart, just because she's the easy one. This is also normal. Get her out of the way. I'm going to go with custom, and for her, I would leave handling and grip about where they are, but for your engine, I would go to the top end just to minimize her, you know, her top speed hindrance, I suppose, so that you're not going too slow.
Welcome to Sunny Beach.
And so we begin with Sunny Beach, which is, well, the easiest, most straightforward course. Now, just to explain Wave Race 64's mechanics, because they're very, very simple. First of all, start with a good time. You get max power if you time it just right. Those arrows on the bottom right are something that you need to be paying attention to. You always want to have it at max power if you can help it. Now, to increase the bar up, if it's not at full, you need to successfully slalom as often as possible. And another thing to keep in mind is the misses on the bottom left. Every single time you miss a, I believe you just call them buoys. Every single time you miss one, your power will go all the way down to 0, and if you miss 5, you automatically forfeit the race and take last place. So that's something you never want to do. You got to make sure that you're always taking the right course of action in every single race. Other tips and tricks: every time you hit a wave, hit B really quickly. That will keep you from going in too high into the air, and that way you won't lose too much speed in the process. Also, be careful of getting your rider knocked off of things. You just can't crash in this game. Like, it's just something that you can't recover from very well. So I would do everything in your power to just avoid hitting anything at all. You also can't, like, do do-overs in this game. You basically take the result you get and you continue, or you start the entire championship all over again. The only option is to either quit or to retire, which automatically forfeits you in 4th place. There we go. Won the first race pretty easily. Reminder, this is normal difficulty. The game is definitely going to get harder in time. But, hey, you know what? I'll take it. Good start. Okay, so we're going to see if we can win every single race through the normal difficulty. I will be kind of embarrassed if I can't do that. As you can see, you also have a criteria. You need to advance. If you don't advance, if you're not able to advance, you just forfeit the entire championship and have to start all over. So those are your objectives every time. The harder the difficulty, the higher objective that you need to achieve. Okay, there's also some other things such as stunts that you can pull off. I'm going to do a backflip here just to show that off. There's other different types of stunts, like you can do a barrel roll, you can do a handstand, you can do a spin. I will show those more off in detail once we get into the stunt mode, because that's where they actually matter. And here they're just kind of a hindrance, and you actually probably shouldn't do them all that much. Okay. So we're already got Mariner on our tail because he's pretty darn quick. But gosh dang it, Nintendo. Bring this series back, you guys. Bring all your racing series back. This one and F-Zero, you guys have been neglecting so hard. Like, since the GameCube era, and it's just not okay. Oh my gosh, Mariner, relax, dude. This guy is flying. Gosh, he's going so quick. Excuse me, sir. Hey, you missed a buoy. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. That just ain't even fair. You missed a buoy. You should be slowing down significantly. I see you. I see you, Mr. Mariner. My gosh, I'm already having like a hard time keeping up with this guy. Well, that's why I actually wanted to use Stuart at the beginning, just because she is so slow. In later difficulties, having a very slow racer is going to be way too much of a problem to be able to recover from. So I want to just get her out of the way and then start moving on to Hayami and Jeter at the higher difficulties, just so I can actually, you know, have a chance at winning those races. But heck yeah, we did it. I just love the way this game looks. Like, I get that it's like, it's very poorly aged, obviously. This is like early Nintendo 64, I believe. I believe it was like 96, 97 or something like that. So it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but there's just something about the appeal of its visual aesthetic all on its own that I adore it so much, you guys. You have absolutely no idea. So, I know I said at the beginning of this episode that I was going to be splitting each tournament into 2. I'm actually not going to be doing that with the normal run, just because the normal run has so few races that there's real no point in doing that. But when we get up to the hard and expert difficulties, I am going to be doing that. So, this race is actually pretty darn difficult. This is where you really start to have your mettle tested. As you go throughout the race, actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm confusing that with a different one. You just have to worry with You just have to worry about those pegs that are sticking out of the water. I was about to say the elevation changes, but it does not change in this course. It's actually a later course that I'm thinking of. So I just tend to take the exact same path every single time. It's the inside path. It's a lot faster. For some reason, Mariner isn't giving us trouble this time. I don't know why, for some reason, on race 2, he decided to go balls to the wall God mode on me, but, you know, this time he's not doing so bad. This level does clear up over time, though, which is kind of nice. I mean, the little changes throughout the course, you know, to add to the aesthetic and appeal of it all, it's still nice. Like, can you imagine, like, a freaking, like, you know, Unreal Engine, like, 4 remake of this game nowadays? Oh, gosh, that would be just gorgeous. Like, they could do it. They absolutely could if they were able to maintain the tightness and the control of this game, because that's one thing that the Nintendo 64 is oft criticized for, is the fact that games on the system don't really hold up very well. And it's not even because of complaints about the visuals, it's actually mostly due to the controls. Because, obviously, Nintendo was still trying to, you know, get to know the craft at the time. 3D gaming was a very, very new thing, and so games like Super Mario 64 and the original version of Ocarina of Time, as beloved as they are now often criticized for their control issues. Wave Race 64, I cannot in the slightest, you know, believe the argument that this game has poor controls. This game has phenomenal controls even to this day, and I absolutely love it. Okay, so real quick shortcut, if we can hit it, you can actually use that wave to just jump over that. You have to be careful, though, because if you don't have enough speed, you will actually miss the timing on that wave every single time, and then if you can easily collide into it, so be careful. There are shortcuts in each of these levels as well, but they will not open up until we get to the higher difficulties, in which case they will start to become mandatory. I do believe they won't open up until we get to higher difficulties. All right, Mariner. Come on, dude. Go away. No need to deal with you. All right, so we should be able to hit this one again, no problem. Just don't hit B. You want to maintain your air there. And also be careful with your turns, because if you hit your turns too tight, you will knock yourself off of your jet ski. Okay, we're doing good. Oh my gosh, Mariner, relax, bro. She controls really well. She's just like, I'm honestly, this is by far the easiest character to control. It's just that her speed is so lacking. Like, I really don't ever have to worry about her falling off or anything. I don't have to worry about hitting corners too tightly, but I definitely have to worry about, you know, people catching up to me. Oh, geez. See, that's like right there. I actually mistimed that, and so now I'm going to take a hit for it. Mariner, get back here. Oh, this is bad. Now, this game does have a little bit of rubber band AI, as did most games back then. I mean, every racing game in the old days had it because they didn't really know how to program difficulty very well, so they just used rubber banding as a mechanic. But it's actually not too egregious in this game. I would say this game and Diddy Kong Racing were the best examples of Nintendo 64 games that knew how to use rubber banding properly. Oh my gosh, can I please beat him? Can I please beat him? Can I please beat him? Yes! Oh my gosh. Whoo! That was close. And okay, CPU, let's just go crashing into the freaking... Okay. Whatever. On to the next one. And now we move on to Port Blue. This is a pretty darn good one. I think we're already set to win this entire championship at this point, but I would still like to win every single race if I can help it. So onward we go. I will say though, this level definitely has the least memorable music, but I love it. I actually love this level though. I think it's such an interesting one. It's actually probably the most difficult on normal, because the very funny thing is the very last course in every single tournament. I mean, they're all the same. Every single last one is actually a pretty darn easy course. It's more so this one, and then the ones that get added with hard and expert difficulty that are a lot more challenging. So I would not use those ramps, as tempting as they are. Just take as tight a corner as you can. It's much, much better for your time. And we continue. That's the other thing too, is the AI will get more consistently competitive in the harder difficulties. Like, if you've noticed on the right side, if you're looking at who's in what place, you notice how Mariner was really close with me on 2 of those races, but in the other races, he's like 3rd or 4th. Once you get into the harder difficulties, whoever is, in 2nd place or right next to you at the top is going to stay there on every single course. They're not gonna make it easy on you throughout the entire tournament. So you have to stay on your toes the entire time. And I'll be so happy to be using a much quicker racer when that comes around. I should also mention that even with the custom changes, each racer still feels a little bit different, because you can only do so much to, either dampen their weaknesses or improve their strengths. So just keep that in mind. You definitely want to get to know a racer, maybe warm up in some time trial and stuff like that to kind of figure out the way that they feel. Because I will say that as good as Stuart is and as easy as she is to use, she's very twitchy. So if you don't like high sensitivity in your racing games, she's never going to be a good pick for you. And there we go. All right, we have one more course. Let's get this done. This is the most iconic one, Southern Island. I actually made a reference to this in a video I made a long time ago about the top 10 race courses in video games, and I still believe that vehemently. This level is extremely iconic. It's got the theme, it's got the elevation change, it's got the dolphins running around in the background. This is just such a great level, and it's just so freaking visually pretty too. For a game that's otherwise very visually muddy. Now, you can try to take that jump there. Wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend just going around this. It's not worth it unless maybe unless you're using Mariner and you've got top end set up. But on subsequent laps, when the elevation starts to go down, the water elevation, excuse me, you can actually just ride directly under that bridge, and this is when you can start shortcutting things. So I would go around the boat. I know I definitely could clear it, but I just don't think that it's worth it. Also, that's right, it's not a dolphin, it's an orca in this level. That's so freaking cool. Okay, so hit this, and then just go straight left. You don't have to worry about missing a buoy while doing this. Just corner this as tight as you can, and then on the 3rd lap, you'll have an even easier time. Simple as that. Also, another thing that I should mention is do pay attention to the heads of the racers on the right side. If you see them dip down, like their head kind of slouch down just a little bit, that means they have wrecked, but they haven't fallen off their jet ski. If their head completely goes out of frame, that means they have fallen off their jet ski and they have to completely recover, which eats a lot of time. So use that to your advantage, use that strategically, pay attention to those things. As you can see, Mariner just kind of crashed a little bit. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. The first championship done with ease. And now you guys get to see the end screen, which is honestly not anything to write home about. But hey, we've done it. Killed them that time. That was pretty darn easy, not going to lie. It's not going to stay that way for long. And so now we get this oh so glorious and well-aged victory screen. Oh gosh. Oh, their hands are paddles. The resolution it's just phenomenal. Oh, they look like Kinects. Oh, her face. She looks like a reject, a factory reject Barbie. Oh gosh. Stuart, sweetie, what have they done to you? I do believe all these characters made a return in Blue Storm, though, and they look a lot better in that game. Promise. So, the reason I have new records is because this is my first time on this file. I am playing this on a Wii U. Should make mention of that. I am not playing it on a standard cartridge, but there shouldn't really be any differences other than the fact that I'm playing it with a Wii U controller. And so doing that, we have unlocked hard difficulty. I can input my initials like you could in most games back then. Whatever happened to this? Whatever happened to the in-game record keeping that we used to have back then? I mean, it was the best. Seriously, they don't do that anymore. It's all online leaderboards, freaking everything, PvP, multiplayer, blah, 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 blah. Stupid AAA games. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Wave Race 64. I hope you all enjoyed it very much. In the next episode, we are going to be jumping on in to the hard difficulty. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all then.